my name is Roberta. I'm a graphic designer, and today I want to retrace my path over the last decade by sharing some of the most impactful crossroads that I've encountered, and how I moved from having no clients and a lot of doubt to building my career. This is a story of how I shifted from feeling anxious and insecure all the time to just some of the time. About the shift from living in a scarcity loop rife with imposter syndrome to one that feels a lot more stable and fulfilling. So after graduating Red River, I landed a job at an advertising agency. It was great. The work was exciting. My coworkers were awesome. The environment was stimulating. But after 2 years, something inside me began to shift. I was nearing my 30s, and I started envisioning a different kind of freedom, not just creatively, but in how I shaped my life. I started to be curious about building something of my own, uniquely mine. My husband is a touring musician, and the allure to work from anywhere was really enticing. So with excitement and fear intertwined, I made the leap to freelance. The path forward felt hazy. I didn't have a concrete plan. Mostly I was guided by instinct and optimism, and I had the security net of a serving job in case I was an utter failure. On my last day at the agency, I handed in my notice, cleared my desk, and stepped into uncertainty. Suddenly, I had 8 free hours every single day. An inbox that was painfully empty. No client emails, no inquiries, no upcoming projects, just me, a blank computer screen, and a passage in my notebook titled "To Do," with absolutely nothing written for me. The empty inbox became a mirror reflecting my fears. I started spiraling. What if I made a huge mistake? What if no one ever hires me? These anxieties felt overwhelming, almost paralyzing. Fortunately, I still had some shifts at the kegs, so I knew I would have rent covered. Yet the voice of scarcity whispered that maybe returning to a more stable job was wiser. At that moment, I was grateful for any work that came my way. Small projects, simple designs, anything to call myself a professional designer felt significant. Yet deep inside, I nurtured these little dream seeds, designing posters for music festivals, creating children's books, crafting album covers, and creating labels for breweries. These dreams felt distant, reserved for designers far more successful, far more talented than I imagined myself to be. We have all done that doom scroll. Insert your platform of choice here, but you go online and compare yourself to everyone else. People who seem to be doing exactly what you want to be doing with their careers. People who have perfected their style and seem to have it all figured out. In this world, imposter syndrome sets in. You start to wonder if what you are doing has any value. Anxiety whispers that maybe you should throw in the towel, that you don't have a right to create in this space. I think anyone who's ever created has had shades of this feeling that come and go through different eras. Comparing yourself to peers, wondering if there's enough work to go around, feeling like success is a limited resource, and watching someone else succeed can all feel like there won't be any opportunities for you. We all deal with this feeling. It is the most common thing for creatives, but it's also bullshit. This whole way of approaching the world is flawed because creativity is infinite. It means that there'll always be enough. Brené Brown put it perfectly. I'll read what she had to say about scarcity versus abundance. So we have the choice in any setting to step back and let go of the mindset of scarcity. Once we let go of scarcity, we discover the surprising truth of sufficiency. By sufficiency, I don't mean the quantity of anything. Sufficiency isn't 2 steps up from poverty or 1 step short of abundance. It isn't a measure of barely enough or more than enough. Sufficiency isn't an amount at all. It's an experience, a context we generate, a declaration, a knowing that there is enough and that we are enough. Sufficiency resides inside each of us, and we can call it forward. It's a consciousness, an attention, an intentional choosing of the way we think about our circumstances. I think what she's saying here is the most important crossroads that we face as creatives. This place where we choose how to frame our reality. Is the world a place where we're all fighting for scraps, in constant competition with one another? Or is creation an unlimited resource where there is more than enough for everyone, and by celebrating each other, by being inspired instead of insecure, does this not generate a more bountiful community of creation? And here's something I've learned the hard way. You don't beat imposter syndrome with external validation. I have met creators with massive followings, shelves of awards, and they still feel it. I have won awards or contracts that momentarily ease the feeling of not being worthy, But without fail, that scarcity voice creeps back in. It doesn't go away until you start believing that you're worthy, in the quiet of your own mind. The external stuff isn't a cure for imposter syndrome. For me, it started with choosing over and over again to believe in abundance, to take that path that felt collaborative, generous, expansive, when I felt the opposite. My story goes like this. I slowly, consciously started trying to cultivate an abundance mindset, to actively choose the path forward that felt the most collaborative, the most generous. And here's the secret. It's not a grand overhaul of your life. You don't have to make one giant leap. It's as simple as this. Just choose gratitude. Quietly, in your own mind, when you catch yourself comparing yourself to others or wondering about what's coming, take a breath and look for something that you already have that you're grateful for. Fast forward 10 years. I'm now living out those big, scary dreams I was once afraid to even speak out loud. I've designed over 200 album covers, illustrated a children's book, created art for festivals and craft breweries. I genuinely love what I do, and I don't take it for granted. But don't get me wrong, I still get imposter syndrome, like, all the time. Okay, so for their last tour, a band called The National reached out, asking me to work on some merch for them. Major imposter syndrome. As I dug into researching this band, I became more and more intimidated. Not only were they multiple Grammy winners, they had collaborated with artists like Taylor Swift, Gracie Abrams, and Bon Iver. And the more I learned, the more I panicked. The scarcity voice screamed, "You're not good enough for this. You should say no." But then I stopped. I took a breath and reminded myself, there's a reason they called me, so maybe I should just be me. I leaned into authenticity and into gratitude. That's what got me here. Embracing authenticity means being who you are, the thing that makes you uniquely you. So I approached the project using my own style and being grateful for having been asked at all. I'm going to flip through a few of my favorite projects in the next few slides here, so they're not necessarily like what I'm talking about, but just work that I'm proud of. So how do you draw a line from an empty inbox and a ton of anxiety to a career that feels creatively fulfilling? How does someone move from staring anxiously at an empty inbox to an abundant creative career? It's tempting to look for grand turning points, and sure, there are some big leaps, but true transformation happened quietly, gradually, in thousands of small choices made daily. Abundance isn't a place that you arrive at, it's a path you choose, one small decision at a time. They say the average adult makes about 35,000 decisions a day. That includes everything from, do I wear purple or green socks today, to massive life choices, like what kind of family you want or what kind of career you want to pursue. That number is wild, right? 35,000 choices, and most of them are small. But even the small ones matter. Actually, especially the small ones. We often believe that life's trajectory hinges solely on dramatic crossroads, quitting a job, moving cities, or starting a business. And sure, those matter, but more often, it's the quiet, private moments when no one is watching that shape who we become. It's in those tiny decisions repeated over time that we either reinforce fear or grow into trust. Every day we face so many micro crossroads. When you feel anxious and you decide to reach out to someone instead of retreating inward, that is a choice. When a creative block arises and you choose curiosity instead of comparison, that's another choice. When imposter syndrome whispers that you're not good enough, and you gently remind yourself that your worth is in your authentic self, that too is a choice. Scarcity and abundance are not singular, dramatic choices. They're patterns that we reinforce as we move through our regular, ordinary lives. The scarcity mindset can scream at us persistently, "You're not enough. Resources are limited. If someone else succeeds, you're falling behind." Scarcity fosters competition and isolation. On the other hand, abundance speaks softly yet powerfully. There's enough for everyone. Creativity is boundless. Someone else's success only enriches the community that I am a part of. It does not diminish me. Abundance invites collaboration, trust, and openness. For many of us in the creative field, scarcity can feel pervasive. Western society as a whole often emphasizes competition and individual struggle, framing success as a battle for limited opportunities. This competitive narrative teaches us that to win, someone else must lose. We become trapped, fearing failure or believing that there's not enough room for everyone else's dreams to thrive. But here's the good news. When you make 35,000 decisions a day, you have so many chances to try again. So if you catch yourself spiraling, doubting, shrinking, that's okay. Just try again. Be gentle with yourself. Abundance isn't about getting it right all the time. It's about choosing over and over again to shift your mindset back towards openness, even when it's really hard. Choosing abundance doesn't mean ignoring fear, doubt, or anxiety. It doesn't imply perpetual optimism or relentless positivity. Rather, it's a commitment to gently guiding oneself back to trust and openness, especially when faced with doubt or uncertainty. When scarcity creeps in, abundance isn't a forceful, radical shift. It's gentle. It's reminding yourself of things you're grateful for, of noticing this negative self-talk and redirecting your thoughts from insecure to inspiration, from worry to wonder, and from competition to collaboration. Each gentle shift strengthens your mindset over time, making abundance feel more natural, accessible, and authentic. Creativity, after all, thrives best in conditions of safety, openness, and expansion, not under stress or self-comparison. The trap of scrolling through Instagram, feeling everyone else is more talented or more successful, shuts down our creative flow. Instead, abundance teaches us to celebrate others' wins authentically, understanding that another's success expands rather than limits the field of possibility for all. As I reflect on my own journey, I just want to say that this is the secret sauce to having a career that I genuinely love. It's just choosing gratitude over letting the lack take over. I certainly don't get this right every single time. I catch myself in the imposter syndrome doom scroll or getting intimidated by ambitious jobs. But even if I get it right half the time, it still has a huge effect stepped up again and again and again. So to anyone feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or anxious, staring at an empty inbox or uncertain crossroads, I want to encourage you. Your future is shaped not by the dramatic leaps that you make, but by the countless small decisions you make every day. Each one of those 35,000 crossroads moments are a new chance to choose abundance, trust, and gratitude. Abundance isn't something that you achieve once and then possess forever. It's ongoing. It's a living practice, a daily commitment to see possibilities where doubt wants to creep in. It's the bravery to take small steps forward and lean into gratitude and authenticity, even when the future isn't perfectly clear. It's such a simple shift, but next time you find yourself in a creative block or doom scrolling Instagram focused on where you lack, try gently moving. From insecurity to being inspired, from worry to wondering, from feeling competitive to embracing your community. These tiny steps will only bring abundance to your own life, and you can change your entire path ahead. You have enough, and you are enough. Thank you.